I'm not a photographer of animals, I'm a photographer for animals, helping animals through their photography. I mean, photographers are influential people with great skill, but we have enough photos in the world of, beautiful wildlife. We get it. Yeah, it's time to show the harsh realities of how the rest are living. At the Turkish-Bulgarian border, all of the trucks from the EU are coming into Turkey to slaughter mostly male animals. It's one part of this entire industry that should not exist. I mean, the whole thing should not exist. But for me, it's important to photograph live transport because it's a part of all of the system that we don't think about. We think about, if anything, like a happy animal in a field. But what has this cow been through? So many stages. And one of those big stages is transport. And so I want people to see inside the trucks the way I'm here seeing inside the trucks, so that they can know, so that they can care, so that they can change. That's the point of everything that I do, is getting them to see and to care and to change. Hi, buddy. I'm sorry. Hi. Yeah, I know. You're thirsty. They're curious, and I think they sense that we mean no harm, and perhaps even that we're gentle, and the curiosity comes out, and that curiosity and that individuality in each animal is something that I want to see and something I want to photograph.
Oh, you're the pregnant heifers.
A lot of pregnant cows are transported and they give birth sometimes in those trucks. And we met one of these calves who was born and basically left for dead. So Eyes on Animals got veterinary help for this calf, and it was pretty amazing to see Leslie going in there and bringing their own vet.
So they are administering some fluids, I think possibly some antibiotics as well. She's very weak, very dehydrated, and it's just great that they are here doing this, like they could just not do this, but they are just hands-on as much as they can. And my hope is that this calf will end up in a sanctuary and not back here. What a way to start a life, huh? She's a little fighter. Is she boy or girl?
Girl. No, boy. Little boy. Spelten. Is it laufen? Okay. Is this the water? Okay.
Oh, shit.
It costs money to have a vet come, and the calf is not worth much money at all. So they're just taking a chance if the calf survives and grows, and they can eventually sell him for meat. And if he doesn't survive, okay, he doesn't survive, but why would you put money into a calf if it's just going to cost you money? Our vet, who's good, said that this calf has been like that for 10 days and is in serious pain. So I think a lot of animals that are born at the border that have no value, they're just left to die. Yeah.
It's always a relief when images are nice and sharp. Luckily, there's no detail blown out here. I can bring that in. The whiskers are sharp. There's eye contact, and that's something I'm always looking for. And it's also important for the groups that I work with to have a clear ear tag in case there are violations.
Hey guys, good we went in. There's 11 trucks with bulls all the way from Belgium. Anyhow, we're gonna now drive really fast and try to make it as short as possible. They're all parked,
Okay.
so we don't expect that they'll be out really quickly.
Hey there, okay, thanks for the message. We don't want to miss those trucks coming through, so we're gonna head out there right now. Thank you for the intel. Okay, bye. All right.
Let's see where these, oh, this is one of the Belgian trucks, I think. So I'm really interested in seeing this one because they've come a really, really long way. Are these guys from Luxembourg? LXB on the ear. No. Okay. I'll find out anyway. Because they're from Belgium, they're having a really, really long trip where they can't lift their necks properly and the water's not turned on.
There was a truck who had pulled up into some shade, and there was a little space between the trees and the truck. And the cows were interested in this. They had their muzzles pressed to the caging and their tongues were reaching out for leaves. So this picture shows, you know, these horrible constructs, the jail, and then nature. And here's this innocent animal inside reaching for something natural.
It's so sad.
So it's a really exciting time to be part of the movement because it's growing so much. And then from my perspective, specifically with photography, filmmaking, we're seeing more of that in the mainstream. And that's where it needs to be. It doesn't need to be just, you know, on the Facebook pages of vegans. It needs to be in The Guardian. It needs to be in the New York Times. And we are seeing that worldwide now. When I started 10, 15 years ago, no one wanted these stories. And now we're seeing them everywhere. I choose not to live in that pain. I don't live in that adrenaline-filled emotional place because I will burn out. And the animals need all of us to hold on for them as long as we possibly can.
Hey, buddy. They're nice. Yes, you're nice. I'm glad that they're here, that they have this temporary space, this temporary reprieve from the heat and the trucks. Kind of kills me though, you know, like, because when they get a minute of rest like this, it's just doesn't really matter much because they're going to the same place anyway, right? Like they're just, it's still going to end badly for them.
It's really hard work. It's horrible work. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be on the front lines seeing all those terrible things, but it needs to be done. I mean, that is the greatest pain of my work. I face millions and millions and millions of animals that I can't help. I'm just there to document the hell they're going through and then photograph the next animal going through hell so that people can see. Yeah, I've seen plenty. I've seen plenty of slaughter. I imagine all those animals in line for slaughter, they're hoping that they will be singled out, you know, that someone will see their specialness, someone will see the beauty in them and like the life in them and see it as worthy, but we never do, right? And I face these animals when I photograph them being slaughtered and I see their value, their inherent value because they're alive and I can't help them. And it's horrible. What sticks with me, which is very, very, very hard, is the trust that these animals have had up until the bolt went in their head. Like they're scared about what's happening, but they trust and they go and they're being led by this rope, and then you know they're being put in position, and then the bolt gun to the head, and they just trust, right? Because that's all they have. They don't have any autonomy in life. Everything is dictated for them from the moment they're born. And, you know, they trust that we're gonna do well by them. And then And then that, the bolt in the head, getting their necks sliced and sliced and sliced and hanging by one leg. And so often those animals are still conscious when they're hanging, huge bodies hanging by a chain. I mean, where did we come up with this stuff? It's unbelievable. Why did we ever think this is okay? Honestly, it's not the skinning and the dismembering and the decapitating that is the hard part. It's just seeing them conscious and trusting.
That's a good sign. Yeah. And she's standing still, which is good too. He's drinking from one of the cows that is lactating, that has a bit of milk in her udder. It could be her mother. We still don't know. They don't know. And that's a good sign. It means the treatment from the vet that we had come, I think, had a positive effect, because he seems a little bit better today. Even though this calf probably won't have a very good life here, and he'll be slaughtered, which is cutting the throat of an animal and bled out, fully conscious. The least you can do for an animal that's in pain is to try to help him get out of such excruciating pain. That's our moral obligation, and I think society would be a really sad society if we just let sentient beings suffer. That would be a horrible society. We're going back to Holland now, okay?
Okay,
But
no
keep
problem.
eyes on things, okay?
No problem.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Ciao, ciao.
When I was a meat eater, I thought it was going to be a big challenge to care and to go vegan. I thought that was going to be a hardship. And what I want people to know is that it's a joy, not a hardship. And it feels good intellectually, morally, spiritually. And I encourage people to try it out. You know, it's just leading with kindness, basically. That's what we all need to do, is lead with kindness, and that'll change the world.